In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to set up a custom lookalike audience using the Facebook Ads Manager. This is one of the most powerful things that Facebook offers digital marketers in order to reduce their cost of acquisition and to really target a niche audience. So if you don't know, my name's Anthony. I run 2 remote businesses, and in this channel, I share with you some of the learning, some of the tools, some of the insights I have running my online businesses in a digital way. So let's get straight into it. You might remember from the previous video that I've got my campaign set up, which is a lead conversions campaign. And if we click through on that, we'll notice that we've got a couple of these ad sets running. Now we'll see here that the cost per result, i.e. Our cost of customer acquisition to submit on my page, is about 40p to 45p. So in order to reduce this, I'm going to feed Facebook my email list, which it's going to use to create a custom audience around. So the first thing I'm going to do is go into ActiveCampaign, which is my CRM, and we're going to find the list of all of our contacts. We're now going to export our entire list, and we'll call it Facebook Export. Once it's ready, you'll see here Facebook Export created today, and you just download that. Now, I didn't need to necessarily use my contact list. I could have used my entire customer list. I could have used any list I really wanted, but for the purposes of our business, we've got 3,000 customers, or at least emails, but we don't necessarily have that many customers. So it makes sense for us to use this. If you do have over 1,000 paying customers, that's even better. That can enable Facebook to really hone in on the people that you're looking for. But for us, that's all we have. Having downloaded and exported this, I'm going to basically clear out all of these columns. And I'm just going to do a bit of a cleaning exercise here. So what I want to do is make sure that the customers or the emails that I'm feeding Facebook are actually going to be active ones. So I'm just going to filter by last open, and I'll see here that a bunch of these people have never even opened an email. So I'm definitely not interested in having these people as part of the list. And we can just delete those cells. So once we're happy with this list, I'm going to remove all of these columns as well, and that's going to leave us with email, first name and last name. Now we can save this document, and what we need to do is we need to save it as a CSV file, because that's what Facebook is able to read. So make sure it's saved as a CSV file if it isn't already. Mine already is. Now we can get out of this window, go back to our ads manager, and we'll go here into audiences. So once this is loaded, we go to create audience, custom audience, and we go to customer list. Having gone to customer list, it tells you how to prepare your list. So if you have it in MailChimp, you can actually import it directly from MailChimp. But it tells you essentially that you need to include at least one main identifier. So email, phone number, Facebook ID, first name, surname. If you have more information like city, country, postcode, date of birth, that's all amazing. But all you really need, to be honest, is your email address of the customer. So once you've got that, you go to this next page where it asks you about the value. So if these are paying customers, it can actually algorithmically weight those that are paying more. For me, I'm just using a normal list, a normal email list without a customer value. So I'm going to click no. Now, having exported my list, I'm going to upload it into Facebook. So we take that file, Facebook export, and upload it. We can name it, call it Facebook export. And I'm just going to put the date as well so that we know 28 Jan. We know which day we're doing this. So this is going to ask you, what are you matching the columns to? So my email is my email, and then this is going to be my first name, and this is going to be my surname. So we do import and create. While it's uploading, Facebook's going to take some time to actually analyze this data. But what we can do is create a lookalike audience. So the first thing you'll do is select your audience location. And for me, that's going to be the United Kingdom, the United States, and the Canada. And I'm choosing these 3 regions because they are simply where my customers are based. And the next thing you do is select your audience size, and you can also select the number of lookalike audiences you want. Now, depending on your budget, you can create, like all sorts of audiences and you can go crazy with this stuff. I'm personally going to choose 3 audiences. The first audience I have is the first 1% of people that are similar to my email list. The next one's going to be 1% to 2% of people that are similar to it. So you'll see this is the same number, 3.1 million, 3.1 million. And then the third one is 2% to 5%. Now, you can basically run ads to all of these different lookalike audiences through your campaign and work out which one's going to have the lowest customer acquisition cost. Facebook is obviously very smart and it can kind of handle all of this data on its own. And I'll probably start testing with the 0 to 1% and the 1% to 2% first before exploring the 2% to 5%. So I'm going to create my audience now. Once you've created the audience, you'll notice that Facebook is actually populating each of these. You'll see they're called, the Facebook export from the 28th of January, the Facebook export 28th January, and they all have their different numbers here. So one of them is 2 to 5, one of them is 1 to 2, and one of them is the 1%. And once you have got those audiences, you can go back to your ads manager and you can actually use them within your campaigns. I generally would recommend you to actually wait until they are populated. But the way you would use them is very similar to any other ad set. You would go to your ad sets here and duplicate one of them and swap out the audience that it's looking for. So that is pretty much it. It's really, really powerful, really simple, and it's a very worthwhile thing to be testing. I like to do this as regularly as possible, leveraging some of the data that you have and offering it to Facebook in order to really leverage the algorithmic tools that Facebook does have at its disposal. I'm going to leave the links to some of this stuff in the description, so please feel free to check it out. I also run a newsletter just sharing with you some of my best kind of tools and tips running online businesses, so please check that out. And thank you very much for checking out the video.